I'll call the July 14th, 2026 regular meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Calling for any public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning. Does anyone in the audience want to comment on anything listed on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to approval of the minutes from our last meeting, June 23rd.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. I'll call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Approval of bills. Any questions or comments on the bills?
No questions on the bills. I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 6 on our agenda is ordinance 2026-6.
Yes, before you is ordinance 2026-6, which is an ordinance implementing a fire inspection program for existing structures within the township that meets certain occupancy codes under the International Building Code. This ordinance will create a new inspection system that will be essentially operated by the fire department. The ordinance also designates the fire chief as the fire code official and clarifies certain enforcement provisions. The recommendation would be to approve this ordinance.
Are there any questions on this proposed ordinance?
No, I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 7 is ordinance 2026-7. Attorney Shaw.
Yes, before you is ordinance 2026-7, which formally codifies the board's decision a couple of meetings ago regarding the zoning classification of properties located along West Ridge Road, just west of the airport. They are parcels, they have addresses of 4855 Westlake Road, 4845 Westlake Road, 4850 Westlake Road, and 4900 Westlake Road. The ordinance formally rezones these 4 parcels from R1 single-family residential to MU1 neighborhood mixed use. Recommendation is to approve this ordinance.
Do I have a motion on this ordinance?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Number 8, we have some new and amended ordinances currently under review. Attorney Shaw.
Yes, first is the subdivision and land development ordinance. We continue to look towards finalizing that document. In addition, we're looking at stormwater ordinance amendments. We're working with the Township Engineering and Planning and Development departments to review and update the Township's stormwater management ordinance. And then lastly, there are zoning ordinance amendments, which I will turn over to Matt Waldinger to describe.
Thank you. Good morning. Yeah, I would just like to give a brief summary of the changes that we're proposing to the zoning ordinance. We do propose to add 3 new uses to the ordinance. The first being data centers, which is a topic of conversation all across the nation. I do want to make it clear that the township is not proposing this change in order to invite or encourage data centers to locate in Millcreek. However, they are not currently provided for as a use and there are no regulations around them. And so adopting these changes would allow us to limit the locations where they could locate, and then also add additional uses or additional conditions on top of their normal application for land development. And so some of the things that would be necessary for a data center, it would be a conditional use, so there would be a separate hearing before they moved forward with their land development. Some of the items that we are requiring from them as part of that conditional use would be an environmental and community impact analysis detailing the effect that it has on such things as noise, water and sewer, energy supply, emergency services. They do have to provide an energy management plan and written certification from the utility that they have capacity to cover the data center and what, if any, impacts on electric rates would be. We are requiring that they connect to the public water and public sanitary systems. These would not be able to be put in places where they would derive their water from a well or where they would use septic systems. There is an increased setback, 200 feet from any residential districts, fencing standards, required emergency response plan that has to be approved by the township, and a funded decommissioning plan for removing all of the equipment if they ever cease their use. So again, I wanted to reiterate that these are in addition to all of the regular requirements and ordinances that the township has. So stormwater management concerns would be addressed as part of the land development ordinance, or I'm sorry, the land development process. They would have to apply to all, they would have to comply with all buffer, setback, nuisance regulations that we have. So these are additional regulations on top of this use just to help regulate it over and above a normal use. And I should note that we are proposing to permit these only in the industrial districts in the township, nowhere else. Really quickly, the other two uses that we're looking to add are transitional dwellings, which are short-term agency supervised housing, such as shelters. We're classifying significant tobacco retailers. Those would be the traditional smoke or vape shops that you see. We're defining them in order to add some additional regulations around them, stating that they must be at least 1,000 feet from any schools or daycares or each other, and stipulating their hours and that they cannot have drive-throughs, which is something that we've seen not in this area but other areas of the country. Additionally, in the C2 commercial district, we are adding large convenience stores with certain regulations by conditional use. We are also adding to the adaptive reuse transitional dwellings and multifamily dwellings as an option that may be considered when you're converting a vacant non-residential building. And then there are also some miscellaneous changes to sign regulations, parking, and permits. I did print a summary of the proposed changes. I do have it on the back table if anybody is present would like to pick one up, and then this will all be on the township website under the zoning tab. I will have this summary and the full text of the changes.
Matt, will the public have an opportunity to comment at other meetings?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I meant to include, this will next be in front of the Planning Commission on Tuesday, August 4th at 5:30. And assuming they make a recommendation, there's the possibility that it could be before this board on Tuesday, August 11th at the 9:30 meeting. And that would be a public hearing and it would be noticed and advertised.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments on the proposed zoning ordinance update?
I'm just going to make a comment that I am happy to see that we are addressing the data centers. I know that the county is also has also created a document where they're addressing the data centers. I think that's an important, newer, I guess, idea? Use, or yes. Concept. But also, I felt very, very strongly about the significant tobacco retailer. I think that the idea first came a few years ago when they were looking at the corner of 38th and Sterretania, of Kahi, right across from McDowell High School, what the use of that building was going to be, and it was a concern that there was a smoke shop right next to McDowell High School. So when Dr. Kavanaugh brought that up to me, it was a concern, I think, for then all of us. So I'm really happy to see that we are putting some restrictions on the tobacco retailer.
Okay. Number 9 on our agenda, Resolution 2026-R23. Attorney Shaw.
Yes, before you is a resolution to approve the disposal of certain municipal records maintained by the police department that are reaching the end of their retention period under the Municipal Records Manual. The police department records to be disposed of include MVR BWC footage that includes test recordings through May 27th of 2026, traffic stops through April 28th of 2026, incident only and special circumstances through July 27 of 24, and case report, arrest report, SRR unknown type, through July 27th of 2006. Recommendation is to approve this resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second.
Call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Resolution 2026-R24. Director Waldinger.
Thank you. Yes, this is a resolution approving Millcreek Township's fiscal year 2026 action plan and requesting community development block grant financial assistance from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The township has been awarded, or I should say allocated, $233,680 in CDBG funds for this year. And so this resolution before you would accept that amount and would authorize the chair to sign any documents related to that grant.
So this is just kind of finalizing what we already do to get the funds.
Correct. This is acceptance of the funds and like I said, authorizing the chair to execute the documents throughout the year.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 11, we have some bids and quotes. First from the Police Department, Chief Muck.
Thank you, Chairman. The Special Investigations Unit at MPD will be working remotely at 3127 Peach Street with the District Attorney's Drug Task Force beginning this month, and the group will need remote computer access to MPD records. To establish a secure connection, IT Manager Filson identified a need for 2 Wi-Fi routers and 6 battery backup devices. To take advantage of Amazon's Prime Day deals, the purchases were made on June 23rd, and this formal request is being made retroactively. The total cost of the purchase was $506.90, and this saved us over $200 by making the purchase on June 23rd.
As they're working remotely right now, is that going to be a permanent situation?
It's month to month.
Okay. I was just thinking if they're ever not in that spot, I assume we'd be able to use the routers again.
Yes.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I will go ahead and second.
Call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay.
Next, the Special Investigations Unit will need internet connection at 3127 Peach Street. And our IT manager, Chris Filson, was initially quoted $295 a month for internet service from VNet at that location on a month-to-month basis. And after negotiating back and forth, he got the price down to $100 per month. And again, that is on a month-to-month basis. The internet connection is vital to access MPD computer records from that location.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, and I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Sewer pipelining, Director Puda.
Thank you. Good morning. The Sewer Department is requesting to line an 8-inch sanitary sewer line on Westlake Road and Clifton Drive. This line had several tree roots in it and is in very poor condition. The quote was received from Insight Pipe Contracting for the price of $17,367.60 under CoStar's contract number 16. Funding for this pipelining will come from the Public Improvements Projects line item of the sewer revenue capital budget. I recommend approval to get this pipeline.
As far as this contract goes that discusses the pipelining, which I agree with, I did discuss it briefly with our solicitor here, and there was just a little bit of language in it that it mentions in here, if there's any collapse to the pipe, it's completely, on us to fix. The language just didn't mention if it was due to any operator negligence or anything that they were at fault for, so I was just hoping we could add in some language like that, just to make sure that we weren't held liable in case it was, something they clearly weren't supposed to be doing.
Well, on these projects, John Blows, he's a full-time inspector on them, so someone is there the whole time, so it isn't like nobody's there watching them. They're more like standard boilerplates that they put on these specs. These pipes that we do reline are in very bad shape. I mean, really, they should be dug up and we should be putting new lines in. So the cost of that is the reason why we're doing the lining. A lot of times we do I&I, and when we do that, we do some grouting, but that's a temporary fix. This is a permanent fix for that pipe. And usually they're doing a whole length of pipe, so is it possible for that to happen? I don't know. I could ask Rob. Have you heard of it happening ever since we've been doing this for years, but it is something that I guess it's possible. That's the reason why we are relining these pipes, because they're in very bad condition. So the possibility could exist that it possibly could happen. But if Attorney Shaw thinks we should add some language, I mean, these are standard ones we usually do, and someone is there watching to verify that they're not doing something incorrectly that caused that.
If there's a structural issue, usually we want to replace it in kind. This is mostly a maintenance issue, it's a tree root issue, so grouting doesn't really, change or affects the roots, in that system. So the tree root issue is a much cheaper process to fix than not so much a structural effects per se.
I agree with doing it. It's just the way this is worded.
I get it, there is always that language that's kind of.
Yeah, we can add some suggested language that the approval could be subject to, finalization, negotiation of the language of the agreement, subject to solicitor review.
Okay.
I'd be in favor of the language as long as it does not stall the process of getting this done.
Yeah, well, that, and also, I think that the board should realize that if you go and try to add more stipulations, that the pricing on these will definitely go up. Their bid price will probably go up because of that.
Right. Is this scheduled, I mean, assuming we approve it today, is it?
It's not scheduled that we wait till you approve it, and then once you approve it and sign it, I forward it to John Blows. He gives it to the contractor to proceed. So if there's any language that needs to be added, you could add that before you sign it, and then I'll make sure that's sent over the proper one with the additional language.
Okay.
I will say I was sending it back and forth to Mark, and he does already have it written up.
Okay.
Just like 3 lines on there.
Okay.
So I will make a motion to approve with solicitor review of contract.
Okay, I will second.
Call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Calendar production,
Good morning.
2027.
We're already thinking about it.
All
The
right.
dates are rolling in.
Go ahead.
Okay. The CRS department received 2 CoStars quotes from both Printing Concepts and McCarty Printing for the printing of the 2027 Millcreek calendar, a quantity of 30,000 copies. Both companies were provided with the same calendar specifications, including the requirement to use FSC Mix certified paper. The department budgeted $41,500 in the advertising and printing account for this project. Printing Concepts, CoStars number 009-E22-081, submitted a quote of $37,966, postage not included, while McCarty Printing, CoStars number 009-E25-116, submitted a quote of $31,650, postage not included, plus an additional $875 mail fulfillment fee for a total cost of $32,525. It is recommended that the board award the 2027 Millcreek calendar printing contract to McCarty Printing as the lowest responsive CoStars quote, meeting the required specifications. Approval of this award to McCarty will result in the project coming in $8,975 under budget. While neither bid included the USPS postage, it is estimated that that may be approximately $8,500 at the time of mailing.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make the motion to approve.
And I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes.
And I'm happy to see it came in under budget. Wow.
Okay, West 6th Street Sidewalk Project, Phase 1. Director Walding.
Yes, thank you. The township received a local share account grant in the amount of $331,695 for the installation of sidewalks along West 6th Street between Pittsburgh Avenue and Peninsula Drive. We awarded Phase 1 of the project to the low bidder, Empire Snow Management, on August 12, 2025, for the bid amount of $189,452.50. Empire has completed the job and submitted a change order in the amount of $2,880.80 for additional material needed for driveway adjustments beyond what was in the original bid documents. The change order has been reviewed by the engineering department, and project engineer Chad McConnell has recommended approval of the change order. These funds will be paid for by the LSA grant and would bring the total for Phase 1 to $192,333.30. The remaining grant funds are being applied to Phase 2, and Phase 2 construction is scheduled to commence later this summer.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, we have the Community Center Project Management and Technical Assistance, Director Esper.
Good morning. Thank
Morning.
you. As Millcreek Township advances planning for the Community Center project, the Parks and Recreation Department and the Planning and Development Department both recommend engaging our plan to provide project management and technical assistance during the next phase of development. The proposed 6-month engagement will assist the township with coordination of master site planning process, consultant procurement and project management, operational transition planning, stakeholder and tenant development, community engagement, branding, funding strategies, and implement of project management and grant tracking systems. These services are intended to supplement the township staff and help maintain project momentum while establishing the operational framework necessary for a successful community center. The total cost of the agreement is $45,000 payable over a 6-month period. Funding for these professional services is available within the 2026 Parks and Recreation capital budget, which included an allocation for community center planning of $150,000. I recommend accepting the submitted proposal by our plan and the execution of a professional service agreement prepared by the solicitor.
I will say that Ashley had the chance to go over this proposal in our packet here with me. I think and I know that she did some edits with them to kind of get it more specific to what we need in these next 6 months. And I think that with this approval, we should be ready to kind of hit the ground running right in 2027.
And Ashley, we take, I don't want to say ownership, we take responsibility for the building as of January 1, 2027, is that correct?
Correct. We
Okay.
are available to take occupancy at that time.
Take occupancy, yes, that's right. And work with our partners on, and our lease partners. They can begin to get into the building at that point as well, right? Those that would be leasing?
Correct, yeah. Any tenant relationships that we form could begin at that period of time. And
Okay.
then we are very much trying to maintain this building as a available space for community gatherings.
Yes.
So any rentals that we have been receiving requests for throughout the year that have previously held special community events or even family events at the Shrine Club then would become our responsibility in 2027 to continue to offer those things, which has been a strong revenue source for the Shrine Club currently. So it's something that we are hopefully trying to maintain in the future, these relationships with some larger organizations that hold nice events there.
So the community members, doesn't need to be necessarily anyone from the township. It can be anyone in the entire community that would like to rent or rent a space from Millcreek Township.
Correct.
And they call the Park and Rec office in order to do that?
Correct, yes.
Okay, all right. And the only indoor facility we have for rental right now is Asbury Barn, correct?
Correct. Seasonally, we have Veterans, which is a little indoor-outdoor, yes. But
Yeah.
year-round, we just have the Asbury Barn. Mhm.
And that's actually not ours, correct?
We lease it through the school district.
Yes, so it's owned by the school district. So we don't actually own an indoor space you can rent
Not
in Millcreek Township.
Well, we do own the Zemzem Shrine Club.
The Zemzem
Yes.
Shrine Club.
Yes, uh-huh.
Now we own
Yes.
a place where where you can actually rent from Millcreek Township, an indoor space. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve. I've gone over the agreement multiple times. I know it was pared down, so I appreciate that as well. And I think the project management plan with the deliverables are exactly what's needed in the next 6 months in order to get this ship out to sea.
And I will second.
Call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Page 2, number 12, approval of PADEP grant reimbursement submission for the Millfair event.
Thank
Jesse?
you. Yes, we're buttoning up the event now. The Millfair Special Collection event was held on Saturday, May 16th, 2026, from 9 to noon at the Millfair Compost Center. The event was pre-approved by the PADEP and is eligible for grant funding through the Household and Small Business Hazardous Waste Collection Program. Millcreek Township filed a 3-part application consisting of the application for registration, record of operations, and application for reimbursement. The grant will partially reimburse the township for the following expenses: employee staff time and employer costs, food and drink for volunteers, and contracted services for the companies to do the tire recycling and freon removal. In total, 400 pounds of lead acid batteries, 272 pounds of propane tanks, 3,950 pounds of appliances with freon, and 33,000 pounds of tires were recycled through the event. On the day of the event, staff collected $3,337 in fees for freon removal and tire disposal. As a result, the township estimates that our reimbursement request will be approximately $960.24 from the PADEP HHW grant. We are seeking retroactive approval for the submission of our grant expenditures to be reimbursed. And due to recent changes in grant reporting procedures, educational expenses will be funded directly through a DEP pass-through grant from the Erie County Sustainability Coordinator in the Erie County Department of Planning. So they just split out how that event is funded through the day of event occurrences, and then education is separate.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 13 is a general release of Millcreek Township for 4914 Tremerlack Lane. Director Rodemore, you have that one?
I was unaware of that one, to be honest.
It was submitted on 7/7/2026 by you.
I can
It's
give
for an O&M agreement.
I can give some background on that. Before is a general release for property located at 9414 Tremerlack Lane for the construction of a secondary structure at the property. The property is adjacent to a bank and bluff above the waters of Lake Erie, and because of that water course and a ravine exist on the property, the township has advised the property owner that various properties adjacent to the bluffs and traversed by water courses and ravines have in recent years sustained damage by virtue of erosion and recession caused by high water lake levels, subsurface groundwater activity, and other factors. The property owner has been made aware of these risks and has agreed to execute this release that is before you, acknowledging the risks of building, where they intend to build, and to release the township from any claims. It will be recorded so that this release would apply to future owners. We started this process a few years ago after we had an incident where the township was sued as a result of someone building too close to a bluff and blamed the township for it.
Okay, so this is for the construction of it says a secondary structure. Or,
Yes, they're building a structure that's on a parcel that's adjacent to a ravine and a bluff.
Okay.
And we've have taken the position of,
Okay.
before approving that ultimate construction, having the owner execute this release to release the township from any liability based on that, quote, approval.
is there a motion to approve this general release.
I'll go ahead and make a motion for the release.
And I will second it.
Call for a vote. Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 14 is Stormwater Management Operation and Maintenance Agreement for 5160 Wolf Road.
My apologies, this next one has a similar situation, that's why it was throwing me off on that particular one, because that previously O&M agreement was approved and plans reviewed.
Okay.
So getting back to this line item, yes, we have another residential property at 5160 Wolf Road. The plans have been reviewed and approved. The O&M agreement have been signed, and this does include the signed general release agreement associated with what Mark just specifically spoke about for stormwater activities associated with properties along the lake bluff. Obviously, there's different conditions, obviously that apply when you're working along the bluff, and obviously, the situation that happened years ago. So that has been signed as part of this property too, and we are recommending the approval of the O&M agreement.
Okay, thank you, Rob.
And to answer your question, and maybe the general release is just an addendum to it. I don't believe we need to sign off on it, Mark. That was your question earlier about
Yes.
signing, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, we simply accept it.
Yeah, well, you sign the O&M part of it, the general release portion of it where they signed is just an addendum to.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, is there a motion to approve this O&M agreement?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I will second.
Okay, Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 15 on our agenda is training request. First is from the police, Chief Mook.
Thank you, Chairman. This request is being made retroactively. The Police Department's crisis negotiation team had their required 4-hour monthly training set for July 9th, and we had received an invitation to participate in a combined training day of 8 hours with the State Prison in Albion's crisis negotiators, and the location of the training was at the State Prison. The purpose of the combined training was to engage in extended negotiation scenarios, and the combination of their team and our team allowed for different role players than our team is used to communicating with. Travel that day was by department vehicle, and there were no costs for the training itself.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to approve.
And I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, we have a Public Works training request. Director Puda.
Thank you. The Sewer Department is requesting to send Keith Lawson to the BNR, the Basics and Beyond Continuing Education class on August 11th, 2026. The course is being held locally at the Ambassador Conference Center. Cost of the course is $143, and a township vehicle will be used. Funding for this course will be taken from the seminars and training line item of the sewer revenue budget. I recommend sending Keith to this training.
I had a question. What is BNR?
I'm not sure what the BNR honestly it means, but this is basically a continuing education course for the wastewater operator's license, so it's pertaining to that. Attached there's a picture of it, kind of just showing what it's relating to.
Okay. All right, I'll make the motion to approve.
And I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes.
Quick,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just want to, BNR is biological nutrient removal. Uses naturally occurring microorganisms to eliminate nitrogen and phosphorus from wastewater.
Okay.
That
I just knew that.
Okay.
Google search removed. Okay.
So, administration has a request for, looks like a traffic grant webinar.
Yes, and I can actually withdraw that request.
Okay.
It's just a webinar, and we are PSAT members, PowerPass members, so it is free, and it's just an hour over lunch, so there's no need to approve that.
Okay, we have another request on the HR conference.
I do. So the Administration Department is seeking approval for HR Manager Eunice Moore and Sean McClelland to attend the 2026 HR Conference that is held at the Manufacturing and Business Association on November 4th, 2026, for a total of $700 that will come from the admin training budget. This is the 14th annual HR conference designed for HR professionals that will bring together experts and peers from across the region to discuss today's most important workplace topics, such as employment law updates, recruiting and retention issues, and emerging HR trends. Registrations prior to August 1st does allow us to register at the member early bird rate of $350 per participant. Since this is a local conference, there will be no travel costs.
Great.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And seconded.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Another training request from Director Stutzman.
Yes, thank you. I'm seeking approval for Jim Schaefer, the Millfair Compost Center's foreman, to attend the 2026 Mulch and Soil Council Plant Manager Training, August 5th and 6th, 2026. This course will instruct program participants on best management practices for organic product inventory management and control for fire safety, prevention and response, personnel safety, product manufacturing, laws and regulations, bulk loads, and much more. We are members of the Mulch and Soil Council, so the early bird rate for attendance is $675. Lodging is $98 a night for 3 nights. That's a total of $294. We are going to seek airfare travel from Erie to Las Vegas and returning for approximately $1,000 round trip. Meals and incidentals would be $387 for a total estimated expense coming in at $2,356. We did budget for this in the CRS training and travel. Collectively, those two, we budgeted $4,500, so we're coming in well under budget for this conference.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second.
Supervisor Clear?
Yes.
Supervisor Morris?
Yes.
I vote yes. Number 16 on our agenda, communications. Anything under general communications? No?
I don't have any.
I don't have anything.
Actually, I do.
Okay. What do you have?
I just want to, actually, I have 2 things that I wanted to mention today. Number 1, the increase of the e-bikes and scooters on our roads have become more noticeable lately. I have had multiple instances, and as well as people that I know, friends who have been almost involved in collisions with e-bikes and also scooters. And I guess I want to just say out loud that it is we have a lot more people with e-bikes and scooters on the roads than I initially thought. So I know, Dennis, you've been talking about this for a long time, and I wasn't ignoring you. But there are, and I think that, number 1, scooters are not permitted to be on a roadway from what I can see in Pennsylvania. And those are stand-up scooters. So when you're standing on something, it is not licensed to be on a road. It doesn't have the, and I bet Chief Muck could probably give you more information on that. But the e-bikes are considered to be bicycles, and bicycles are permitted to be on the road. And from what I see in Pennsylvania, they're allowed to be on the berm, or in the berm of the road. That's where they're allowed to, but they have to follow regular traffic laws. And I think that might be where, we have the disconnect, because we have 14-year-olds that don't know basic traffic laws, and they are frequenting roads that are very busy, and they're not taking into consideration, the dangers that they are posing to themselves and others. I'm not sure what to do about this yet, but I just wanted it to be noted that we probably need to do some kind of a campaign, possibly a social media campaign. Parents, please talk to your children about safety and riding, especially with these motorbikes, helmets, following, basic traffic laws. Explain those to your 14, 13, whatever, 12-year-old. I've seen 10-year-olds on them. And maybe this involves an ordinance of some sort, or, just, I guess, some way to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe on the road. So that was one. Two, we are paving, as everyone knows, different roads here in Millcreek Township, but we are also doing pavement preservation. And this is the first time, I think since 2008, that we've been doing any kind of pavement preservation. So we are probably a little behind the times, but other municipalities, the city of Erie, Harbor Creek, Fairview, Summit, et cetera, all do pavement preservation. And it has come to our attention that maybe we did not explain the process enough to folks out there that are having this pavement preservation done in their neighborhoods. It started last week, and we've already had some, it's our learning curve. It was not marked the way Lindy Paving marks the roads, but we are going to rectify that. When the pavement preservation is going to be done, there's a tacky coat that goes down first, then followed by some rough rock. That has to stay for a week. We then, 1 week later, come through and we sweep that up. And then within a few weeks after that is a final coat that goes on to preserve the road. This is a much, much more cost-efficient option for the township. It preserves the roads and in many cases doubles the use and the time of the road. So that is one of the reasons that we are looking to continue the pavement preservation. So just to make people aware, there have been some roads that were previously done. There were some residents that thought we were tar and chipping. There is, of course, the initial coat that goes on with rock, then on top of it, it looked like a tar and chip. And we didn't do a good enough job probably explaining that that's not the end product. The end product comes after, within a few weeks after that. So you will see an improvement to that. The rocks can be definitely frustrating for sure, but that's not the end product. So, is that?
Yeah, kind of dovetailing off that, we did meet with some residents yesterday, and they brought up the fact that, their perception is that the east side, the Bell Valley side, is treated differently. We've heard that for years, but I just wanted to publicly announce what we've paved east of Old French Road in the past several years. We've done Arbuckle Road, we've done Schultz Road, we've done Footmill Road. These are complete mill and repavings. We've done part of Henderson Road, we did Martin Road, we did all of the subdivision off of Martin Road, Delphos, St. Andrew, Zemville, Belfield, Phelan. We did Ripley, Sharp, Shrimper. We did Appleman Road in 2018. Last year we did from Kohler to McClelland the following roads: Brooksboro, Wintergreen Drive, Pepper Tree, East Gore. We did Ashboro. We've done all the cul-de-sacs off of Cider Mill Road, Winesap, Applejack, Golden, Crabapple, Rome Court. That's all within the past 8 years we've done that. So what people have to understand is the mobilization of the paving crew is very expensive, so we're trying to keep things condensed. This year we're paving everything west of I-79, and then the pavement preservation process is east of 79. Next year, we don't know what roads we're going to do, but likely it's going to be an east side package to keep everything compact. So yeah, I understand their concerns, but the statistics do bear that we are definitely paving on the east side of town. So Director Puda, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to what Kim said, or as far as the process. It's not complete there.
Correct. Everything you said, I agree with. I will say that we will do better with the signage out there to make the residents know when we're going to be doing the work. This is the first time for us, so it's kind of a learning curve. But again, all the other municipalities do this, and it's something that we need to get more coverage on our roads, because we don't have the funding to just keep milling and repaving everything, and we can do a lot more with this to preserve the stuff that we do have.
Right, and we can, we'll evaluate this at the end of winter and see if this is a process we want to continue or expand or not do it anymore. We'll evaluate that in the spring, but let's give it a chance. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, by the way, for meeting with the residents with us yesterday. We appreciate it.
Okay, Treasurer Communications. Anything further?
I just wanted to give an update. I just did hear from the auditors this morning, and they have at least gotten our draft done of our audit. It has been turned into their partners for the partner review, and so I should be getting a final copy here, probably I would think in the next week to 2 weeks.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Executive sessions were held on July 2nd and July 8th. On July 2nd, litigation matters related to state court litigation, personnel matters related to the police department, public safety matters related to the police and fire departments, and real estate matters, Parks and Rec. On the 8th, litigation matter related to code enforcement and state court litigation, personnel matters related to the police department, public safety matters related to police and fire department matters, and real estate matters related to the Parks and Rec facilities. Solicitor Communications, anything further?
Nothing further on my end, thank you.
Okay. This time, if the directors would care to be dismissed and go back to their respective offices, we will then go on to citizens to be heard. We had 3 residents who pre-registered to speak. The first one is Phil Schmaltzried. Phil? Okay, sir. If you want to come up to the podium, and you'll have 5 minutes. Welcome.
Thank you, and good morning. I'd like to discuss the township's street lighting assessment calculation. I've been in communication with you guys about that. Here's the background to bring everybody up to speed. Since 1995, I've lived in the Westbury Farms subdivision off Sterretania Road. When I received my first bill for street lighting, I checked with one of my neighbors and found that his assessment was less than half of mine, even though his lot is the same size, about the same size. My lot is relatively small, less than 1/3 of an acre, but my assessment is high because I have a pie-shaped lot, and the calculation is based on the frontage, the length of the property that borders the street. The calculation has a special provision for corner lots. I think their frontage is divided in half. So in effect, I'm being penalized for the shape of my lot. That year, I met with then Supervisor Sue Weber and Engineer John Orr about this. Both agreed that the calculation was unfair. Ms. Weber said she would look into this, but I never heard from her again. I sent letters in 1998 and 1999 asking for an update, but received no response. In November 2025, I sent an email to all 3 township supervisors and again received no response. Then in June of this year, I tried again forwarding the message to you 3 supervisors, and this time I received a response from all of you, and I thank you for those responses. I've been told that the issue is very complex, involves different lighting districts, and that altering the calculation would cause many people to complain because their assessments would increase. But my response to that is that not taking action isn't fair to those who have been paying a disproportionate share all this time. Over the last 28 years, my assessments have totaled $7,644.69. I estimate that's roughly twice as much as the neighbor I mentioned earlier, and I sure wish I could have some of that back. I suggest these options for making the assessment more equitable. 1, if Westbury Farms is its own lighting district, each property should pay the same amount. I think it's reasonable to assume that everyone in a subdivision benefits equally from the streetlights. And two, if Westbury Farms isn't its own district, base the calculation on overall lot size or property value. The most recent response I've received was a July 8th email from Ms. Clear. In that message, she indicated that Millcreek is looking to recalculate streetlight payments for 2027. I'm interested in hearing more about that. I would also like to know more about the districts and more about how the calculation works. Thank you. Do I sit now or stay here?
You still have time, so.
I'm done.
Yeah. Any of us can comment on what you said. First of all, I want to, I guess, say how well thought out your presentation was.
Thank you.
Very well put, very articulate, and very concise and to the point, and I feel conveys what I've heard off and on for the last 9 years since I've been here from different residents with their concerns about how the streetlights are calculated. We had a meeting about a week ago internally, discussing this, and as you stated, it is a little more complex than just, saying we're going to change it to one method or the other, but I think we want to do it right and try to do it equitably across the board and kind of look at, the process and how we want to do it. So for the first time since I've been here, I think we're going to do a little more of an in-depth analysis of lighting districts. There's how many, Anita, total? 336 different lighting districts in the township. So obviously we're not going to just do Westbury and leave the other 335 out there. So looking forward to that. Obviously the bills have gone out for this year. So we do have time now, between now and next billing cycle. So we'll be analyzing that in the realistically, I would say, first of the year, January, February time frame or thereabouts, we'll kind of, see where we're at with that, so.
Do we know if Westbury Farms is its own district? Who answered the question? Within that? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's all dependent on when the developer, created the streets in there, the lots, and how they were laid out at different times, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything they want to comment on the streetlight process, or?
No, just, we appreciate you bringing it to our attention, and I did not realize that it was an issue, so thank you very much for letting me know that it was an issue. I mean, and I think we hear all the time, the last few years, we hear, oh gosh, my streetlight bill just came, but I don't think, and it was, of course, the lot size, pie shape, we have all kinds of shapes of lots here in Millcreek Township. They're not all, a square. So distribution is not necessarily equal. So. But I think that we have a few different ideas here, and our treasurer, who does great math,
Excel does very good math.
Excel does very good math. But anyways, helping us kind of find an equitable distribution for this. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
We'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
Okay, the next person that registered to speak ahead of time is Edith Benson. Is Edith here? I don't see Edith. Okay, no. Okay, Candy?
Good morning, everybody. I have a few questions. Are you planning to eliminate the flock camera contract with Millcreek Mall?
I have heard no talk of that.
Okay, have you had other citizens complain about it to you?
I haven't had anybody personally complain about it, other than the people that have
Other than me.
come here to speak,
Yeah,
But-
okay. Well,
and a few emails early on in the process.
when you first brought it up in November, I asked Mr. Shaw, I said, do you not see an issue with privacy? And you said no. And I said, I didn't give my consent to be on a database. And that is against my Fourth Amendment privilege in the Constitution. And when you took your oath of office, you swore to uphold the U.S. Constitution and the Pennsylvania Constitution. If you look up Katz versus the United States, that deals with a person's right to be have privacy whether they're in public or not. Okay? If I was to go outside and follow you in your car and take pictures everywhere you went, and I followed you everywhere you went all day, every day, you would charge me with stalking. Okay? And when you look at these cameras, it's the same thing. People are not giving their consent to be on this database. And Chief Mook said that, oh, well, we delete them every 30 days. But if you share those databases with other departments, and, Ann Silverthorne did a study that showed that these databases were shared from the whole way to Florida to Ohio. Even if we erase our database, you don't know if these other departments do. And you could be on their database and you don't know what you're on there for. So to me, it's a violation of my, Fourth Amendment rights. I would suggest you seriously consider just canceling that contract. When you spoke in December, I think you said that the owner of those cameras, which is the mall, cannot get into the database. Only the police department can. So how is Lowe's, the department store, how are they handling that and Home Depot? Do they have a police department reading their flock cameras? And do we have, if they are, then do we have a contract with Lowe's for their flock cameras like we do?
You're referring to the Summit Township locations?
Well, there's one over here. And there's a Lowe's here on Asbury.
Right.
But do we have a contract with them?
I believe, basically, when an entity, when an organization or a business decides to engage with flock camera, the flock camera has to have an arrangement then with whatever the local department is. So, for instance, in Summit, it's with the state police.
The state, but do we have a contract with the Lowe's on Asbury?
We are the assigned entity to that camera.
But you don't have a contract? Or you do?
Not specifically with Lowe's, no.
I've never seen a written agreement or
No.
contract with the
Well,
Lowe's.
I'm just like saying, I kind of like my Fourth Amendment rights, and I don't like them to be taken away. And I think it's your duty, as you took your oath of office, to uphold those rights. I also have a question on the Triber Ranch. I see that you cleaned everything out. There is still somebody living there. I don't know why that person is not evicted. And I understand it was supposed to be up for sheriff's sale. I don't know if Steve and his brother still own it. They're still in prison. Can you not evict somebody who is trespassing? I do have the plate number in the car if you want to.
Well, that's
But the neighbors said they have complained, and the police do not do anything. They said a pickup pulled in the other day and took a bunch of stuff out of the house.
That would be a police issue, yes.
Yeah, and they have, the police are not evicting anybody. It's
Okay.
That's not how we handle, if you have transients or homeless people living in a home, you boot them out, but I
Okay,
just
thank you,
wanted
Candy.
to know about that. Thank you.
Okay, those are the only residents that have pre-registered, so now, any other people that want to speak?
Hi, Julie Hart, Millcreek. I'm here to talk about flock, but I'd like to mention several things that were brought up in the meeting. I agree with Kim that we need an education program for people using e-bikes and scooters. I would like them not to have an ordinance. There are people buying these vehicles because gas is expensive and they can't afford transportation any other way. So please keep that in mind.
Yes.
Mr. Schmaltzreis, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, it seems like he's had this issue, and I understand it predates you, for almost 30 years. A citizen should not have a problem for that long and have to beg for it to be addressed. It seems like that is what's been happening. I hope you address his issue and the lighting issue for other people, because that is not in it. That's not equitable. On to flock. At least 82 municipalities across 28 states have walked away from their flock contracts. I would ask that you also walk away from your contract with flock. A not inclusive list. Los Angeles halted its use amid Inspector General audit. Austin, Texas, Seattle, Washington, Evanston, Illinois ordered the removal and a cease and desist after systemic use, after systems were improperly used. Westmoreland, Michigan discontinued its cameras pilot program. Columbia, Minnesota voted to remove dozens of them to protect public trust. Flagstaff, Arizona, Cambridge, Massachusetts, Eugene, Oregon, Santa Cruz, California, Ferndale, Michigan ended its program following public scrutiny. I would like Millcreek to end theirs. It's problematic. There are other less invasive methods of getting the same data. We've had them before. I think we should revisit that. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is John DePlacido, and I'm speaking as a member of the Government Transition Advisory Committee. I want to express my concern that the request for proposals approved by the TAC Committee is not being discussed this morning and is not on the agenda. As the document states, the request for proposals is a document that details the steps necessary for drafting the administrative code changes to support the optional plan, council manager form of government, approved by the voters of Millcreek in the November 2024 election. TAC members have spent many hours reviewing and fine-tuning it before submitting it to the supervisors for comment and approval after our July 2nd meeting. The TAC committee supports the completion of the project as being very time-sensitive. The submitted RFP, as written, sets a completion date of 12/31/26, which would allow potential council member candidates to understand their roles, and the general rules of the road as far as the new township government is concerned before the 2027 primary election. The TAC recommends sending the RFP to 3 local law firms and 3 Pennsylvania-based consultant entities to ensure competitive and qualified pricing. Of course, the supervisors may modify the list of recipients as they control the approval and funding of the mandated transition requirements. I respectfully ask that the supervisors prioritize getting any and all of their questions answered and sending out the RFP in an expedited manner. The TAC is available at any time to answer questions or provide clarification. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning. Tom Laird, and I'm speaking as the chair of the Millcreek Transition Advisory Committee. I want to speak briefly this morning. I know I only have 3 minutes here, so I think there is a little bit of frustration in what I have to say, but we understand as the committee that anything that we present to you is yours to act upon, right? So I don't think anybody on our committee is asking for a rubber stamp. I think, though, that we need better communication between what maybe you guys are thinking and what we're thinking. So let me walk you through, I think, where things stand very quickly from my perspective. After 2 months of work, as John just said, our committee finished administrative code RFP. That meant in our regular meetings, subcommittee sessions, I was on the phone, for I don't know how long, kind of just vetting a long list of firms down to the 6 that we believe were the best for Millcreek. We voted on July 6th with a 6-1 vote to present this to the supervisors to hopefully be sent out on our behalf. I sent that to you on July 6th. That's the first business day after that vote, after the 4th of July holiday. Asked again that it be placed on the agenda. On July 8th, I did reach out to Supervisor Morris directly, make sure I didn't screw this thing up, and make sure that, again, everything that I sent was appropriate. And I was told that we were literally discussing it right now. Sounds like we will need more time to discuss, so on a later agenda, we want to reach out to DCED to clarify some questions. I said that was disappointing. That was kind of my response. Yesterday, when we really found out that this was not going to be on the agenda, I did reach out again just to say, hey, we have to give the committee members a little bit of a heads up of why this is not on the agenda. And I was told as of right now, I don't think anyone has read it, but we have reached out to DCED who talked to us about going over it. So again, I think that's pretty disappointing too. Every member of our committee volunteered their time because they really want to do this right, and they want to do it timely. So I think all we're asking is for some better communication, and I think we need a little bit of good faith, which I don't feel like we received through this process early on. So again, this doesn't go anywhere if we don't have your ear, right? If we're left in the dark, we're just a committee that was kind of put together to check a box, and nobody wants that. We're here, we want to do the work, but if you guys already have a plan, tell us, right? We want to do the work no matter what. This needs to get done. If we want to have, Mr. Shaw, the solicitor, do this, I think we're fine with that. I think not knowing your guys' thoughts is worse than not having a plan, us presenting you things that maybe you're not going to follow through with, or just it kind of falls on a deaf ear. And again, this is just the first time that we've had this interaction, so maybe things will get better here, but again, we do believe that there's a rush to do this. We do believe that the administrative code needs to be done by December 31st so that people that are running in the primary in January understand the rules of the road, understand the structure that they need. And just real quickly, so I'll leave it there. I think that there has to be some communication here. If you guys have a process that you think that this is going to go down, we want to help you, right? We will present things to you, but again, if you have a way that you guys see this going, we just want to get this done for Millcreek. I know you guys do too, so it's kind of help us help you. I think, we can do a little bit better job with that both ways. Thank you.
I guess I'm going to comment on that if that's okay.
Go ahead.
I agree. We probably need maybe a liaison. We might be able to formulate better communication between the groups. I think that it was July 6th. This is July 14th. We obviously had 14,000 things on our agenda. Number one, not an excuse, but you're right. This is also an unbudgeted item. And that also is something that we are concerned about. I was told by Sue Weber that the study was going to be done for free and she was going to have money that she was going to set aside for a free study that ended up costing the taxpayers $100,000. So those are the consequences of our actions with RFPs. with a predetermined company that she had already been in talking to, and that she had already had the relationship with. So I think that is probably, that's honestly, we're really gun shy now because of what has happened to us. At least for me, and it being an unbudgeted item. And so I think that all of us here really want to take a look at the RFP and see what it's asking and what that scope of work is. And can it be pared down so that we could lower the costs? Because again, we have to figure out where the money's coming from. We follow a really strict budget and line item. Everything we spend money on since I've been here is according to a plan that we made prior to the year. So I think that is also something, Tom, that we're looking at. It's not that we don't hear you. It's not that we know this has to get done. We know that. We have a year and a half until this change takes place, and we want it to be the best that it can be. And I'm so thankful that we have the committee to do the work. So.
Can I say one thing or no?
Yeah.
So we did try to pare this down.
Yeah.
We know that there's multiple things, right? So all we're asking for in this meeting, when you look at it, just the administrative code. We have E-code 360 with general code. We're going to get all that done for the ordinance. We already have a Millcreek has a conference. So that's the only thing that we're looking for is just the administrative code. And again, I agree with you. I think that the other two things, right? Looking at general code and then also looking at the manager and the search, that could all be budgeted for next year. I think that this, and again, there's some disagreement on the board about this, but I believe, again, you can go look at the code, and it's mostly already written, right? We just have to quantify it for Millcreek. So again, I think if you're running, I don't know if people really understand what's happening. Right? So if you're going to run in January,
Yeah.
just want to make sure that you totally understand.
Yes. Yes, and there are also administrative codes that already exist in other townships as well. So, we have those as models. So, also thinking about not reinventing the wheel. And I guess I just wanted you to know, like, that's at least where we're coming from. And I'm going to say, I've said it before and I'll say it again, government moves really slow. It's on purpose. I learned this 8 years ago when I was on county council. Slow it down to make sure that our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. And we need to make sure we're doing what we need to be fiscally responsible because we're accountable to the taxpayer. So please be patient with us as we kind of are in this uncharted territory. But better communication. If that's me and you, then that's me and you. And I'll lay it to you straight. Okay. No, I'm sorry. We know that. It's going to be uploaded afterward. Thank you. I'm sorry. My husband actually let me know that. The live stream is not working, but it will be uploaded afterward.
Morning.
Morning.
Dennis McAndrew, Millcreek Township citizen. Thank you for I know I've been complaining for probably almost 5 years now about e-bikes. And it's not that I'm against them or anything, but just recently, that poor lady that just got killed on a bicycle by a 19-year-old. They haven't come around and said it, but it sounds like she was on at least a bike assisted. And it's hard to judge how fast those things are going. And that poor kid now has to live with the fact he killed someone. It's a tragic accident. I do think, and I've pursued this with the state representative and been told that there's too much influence by the e-bikes to change things, which I find to be a lame excuse. Because there was, at one point, ATVs, off-road vehicles and stuff weren't registered and required to have insurance. Those laws changed. I mean, some of those e-bikes are thousands of dollars. So we need to either pursue someone's got to start saying, hey, they're not toys. I think people mistakenly think, oh, it's just a bike that goes quicker. I don't want to be hearing from anyone, oh, we never saw this coming, when I saw it 5 years ago. There's, even in this township building, you have employees that ride e-bikes to work because to save money. So, I mean, thank you for acknowledging the e-bikes and the increased usage. I think we do need, and you did have in Millcreek magazine a one-page thing about it. You go by McDowell, not maybe right now, but a lot of times when there's events going on and you see the kids double, three on a bike riding around in the parking, I mean, someone's going to get hurt. And, you know, so thank you for that. And the streetlight thing, I don't have one particular, but have we asked like Summit Township, Lawrence Park, City of Erie, you know, they all have different ways of paying or I still to this day have an issue with how is it a township is collecting money for a private company, just like I have a problem with waste management. They're independent, private businesses. They should be getting their money, not the township for them. I mean, you know, you don't buy gas in your vehicle and then submit the bill to the township and then have someone else collect it. Same with electricity. You know, I use electricity in my house. I don't get a separate bill from a third business for the privilege of having a light. It just seems that over the years, we've hodgepodged a system together to make it work, and maybe we need to reevaluate the overall system.
Right, well, there is, you know, the second-class code does call for a provision for collecting streetlight assessments by the tax collector.
Okay. I did not realize.
I mean, so there are other options.
Right. And I do realize, too, that we have LED lights, sodium lights, lights that actually still have bulbs, different, you know, so there's all kinds of different lighting, too, which creates a lot of inconsistencies. And it also seems like in some areas are total dark and other areas have overabundance of lights. So maybe we need to reevaluate because and even police will say, and I think you know this, improperly installed lights are worse than no lights at all because you create darkness if it's installed wrong.
Right.
So I think in some areas, maybe things have changed over, you know, time or whatever.
As you know, everyone's going to be converted to the LED.
Right.
You know,
which
process
is going to take 3 to 5 years.
Which should.
Correct. So you have time to try and figure out how to build.
That'll go by quick.
It does. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Just an observation. I happened to be at Best Buy the other day and walked by the scooters and caught my attention. I looked at the one, its maximum speed was 28 miles an hour. Wow. I mean, I was stunned by that. I mean, that's really fast for a kid on a scooter without a helmet on the side of the road. Yeah. Just an observation.
Yeah.
Hello, Caleb Bretchten, City of Erie. So for the benefit of those who aren't familiar, I just want to say I am a software engineer. I have near 10 years experience as a professional software engineer. And I have things to say about flock cameras. I know I've said this before, but I'm just going to read this out. I'm formally asking the Millcreek Township to take immediate action regarding flock cameras and any similar AI-enabled surveillance or automated license plate reader systems that are connected to the internet or capable of large-scale data sharing and tracking. First, cancel any existing contract or agreement involving flock safety or similar surveillance systems. Second, remove township access to these camera networks and discontinue participation in any shared surveillance database or monitoring program connected to them. Third, engage directly with the owners of the Millcreek Mall and any other private properties using these systems, and strongly encourage the removal of AI-enabled internet-connected surveillance cameras that collect or share mass vehicle or movement data. Fourth, make clear public statements acknowledging the privacy, cybersecurity, civil liberties, and public safety risks created by network surveillance systems of this kind. Finally, begin work on an ordinance restricting or prohibiting the use of AI-enabled internet-connected license plate readers and similar mass surveillance camera systems within the township. If security cameras are necessary for legitimate safety purposes, they can be replaced with traditional closed-circuit systems that do not rely on broad data collection, internet connectivity, artificial intelligence analysis, or large-scale information sharing. So I just wanted to repeat that because I think it is important to come with specific asks. I also want to make it clear that there are solutions to some of these problems. I can continue to chat with you after, if you're open to it, about some of these solutions, if you're looking for what to do, because I don't like to just bring problems. I also want to make it clear that some people, I think it's important to understand the implications of safety when it comes to this sort of thing. It's not just data, but it is your physical safety that is connected to these cameras. People talk about how there are data breaches when it comes to your private information here and there, and that happens quite often, actually. But the disconnect between something like that and these cameras is that these cameras can locate your physical location. So it is a public safety issue, which does mean that you can do something about this when it comes to private businesses. There are some example ordinances that you can also use to take these cameras down, as was mentioned earlier by Julie. Many of these municipalities, ranging from all sorts of demographics, have done this already. Thank you.
I think everyone in attendance has spoken, it looks like, so call for an adjournment. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. I vote yes.
Me too. Yes. Yes.
We are adjourned at 10:51.